Because I just feel like this was the main reason why our marriage didn't work out. Now that that's taken away, it's like, oh wow.
Okay, I want.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Yes. Listen, it's a Mazzoline. Cause, yeah, absolutely. You know what? It's a Mazzoline right now because Paige is not getting it. But I always say this to you guys all the time. When your lens is broken, you see things wrongly. You see things incorrectly. Right now, she's actually failed to nail the core reason as to why she's in this position where they're at divorce point. She sees it as the reason why is because he was gonna have a child with another woman. That's not it. And when you poorly diagnose the illness, now your actions can be erroneous too, because the whole reason why she's considering it is because she places all the emphasis on the relationship going wrong when the child came into play. Darling, he was moving mad way before then. Way before then. He wasn't self-sabotaging. He just didn't care enough. Do you know what I mean? He just didn't care enough. You feel me? So now we've got a situation where, oh boy, is moving mad. Do you feel me? And you're moving mad now because you're trying to save him by having this thought process that if you didn't have a child, it would have worked. It wouldn't have, darling. And that's made you also as well wrongly see Mercedes as your competition. She was never your competition. And the reason why I say she saw Mercedes as competition is because the way she talks about this whole, the child wasn't there, it makes you realize now that when she went to have that conversation with Mercedes and Chris at the time, she wasn't doing that conversation because she just wanted to see Wagwan. She wanted to see Wagwan with her competition. She wanted to see Wagwan with the woman that's causing issues in her relationship. She's seen incorrectly. She's incorrectly identified her enemy. And that's causing her to fire rockets in the wrong place. But guys, before we go any further, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notifications up, lows. And for those of you who are returnees, you got the minerals. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Listen, the streets are hot, so you better stay hydrated. The streets are hot, so you better stay hydrated. All right, cool. Let's get into this video and let's talk a bit more. Now, first thing we want to understand is when Dr. Viviana actually asked the question, she's like, wait, why are you feeling overwhelmed? That in itself tells you everything you need to know that Dr. Viviana's mindset is going to. She's like, wait, hold on a minute. Why are you overwhelmed? Because your decision should be made by now. What he's doing is irrelevant, right? And so now when Paige gets to ask that question, look what Pastor Cowell's immediate response to Paige's, well, the child wasn't there, you know, it would be a different situation. Look at his response.
I want to be sensitive to what's going on, but I also we have to look at the big picture.
Like Pastor Carl had to say, I wanna almost a few times before he got to there. Now he speaks about obviously wanting to be sensitive, but what he really wants to try and drop into there is, look, irrespective of whether the child is miscarried or is there or not, makes no difference. You've got problems. You got problems. Okay, and those problems are big. They were big. Those problems were causing issues long before you had a child situation. I know. I was there with you. You were talking about the situation. How we turned it around to a point where now you are actually considering trying to be in a relationship with the brother. That's what he's wondering. That's what he's feeling. That's what he's thinking. Right? That's what he's thinking, and I can understand that because at the end of the day, you know, the issue of the child was a side thing. But here's the thing. The reason why people get into these spaces of trying to compete with the wrong person or compete with another woman is because you don't feel secure in your position already. And you felt that the threat coming to your position, okay, was Mercedes. And people misidentify the enemy coming towards them simply because their lens is broken. And what they've been taught is oftentimes the other woman. There's a dissonance that happens. So for instance, it's like when a woman finds out her husband cheated and starts trying to fight the other woman. I don't care if she knew your husband or not, whether she knew your husband was married or not, it makes no difference. Your fight is with your husband. We call that a displacement. When people kind of displace their anger for the original person because you feel like you can't give them the full anger and wrath due to their position or authority in your life, you then displace it onto something else. It's a deflection technique. It's a defense mechanism. When you feel like you can't give the full whack of wrath to that person, so you give it to the woman. And so that whole, the child's not there is a reason as to why as to why the situation is the way it is. Yeah, it's like you've incorrectly diagnosed this because you've been incorrectly taught. Do you know what I'm saying? And that desperation for marriage and for love has now caused you to see askew. Right? It's a warped perception that then feeds a warped mentality, that feeds a warped diagnosis. Do you feel what I'm saying? And because she's also a people pleaser, she's seeking out solutions for a problem. But guess what? The problem, if you misdiagnosed it, you can't actually fix the problem. And the thing about people pleasers is, again, is that they're pleasing to try and get something back. So now she's trying to fix this problem, and the problem can't be fixed because she doesn't even know what she's fixing. There's a leak in the pipe, and you're fixing the wrong end of the pipe. There's still going to be a leak, darling. There's still going to be a leak. Yeah, man. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Let's play a little more.
Wasn't the relationship already in jeopardy before you found out?
The fact that Pastor Cal, if you watch his body language, he had to come forward and now begin to talk in a very, he's not being aggressive or anything, but he's talking as a matter of fact kind of tone. Wasn't the situation already in the rocks before? Like he's reaching his limit. He's like, no, I'm seeing this is going on. I can't let it go this way. I've got to say something. I've got to throw a rock here, and hopefully it hits you on the head and you snap out of the daze. Right? So that body language, that switch there, you see it's completely different. He's come forward, right? I wish you could even see it again.
There was a baby on the way.
So,
look, compared to the other experts, he's leaned forward. So now he's asking this question. He knows evidently that, yeah, look, at the end of the day, look, that this situation is not right. And he's trying to ask this question to kind of wake the person up. You ask sometimes rhetorical question, or even ask a question to kind of get the person to begin thinking. Because sometimes people are on auto speed. They're on just go, 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 go. And you have to ask a question that makes them stop and think. So now he's asked a question. Chris is going to answer it. Let's listen to his answer. There were problems beforehand. Listen to his answer.
We have the issue of attraction, and outside of day one, I felt like things were heading down the right track.
So he says, outside of day one, I felt like the things were heading down the right track. Where? See, look, the brother said he wasn't attracted to her. And he said that from early on. Then obviously the situation with the whole, wanting to have sex and not being attracted. Not only that, then the situation where you said you actually liked your ex still. You then brought your ex into the mix. That's got nothing to do with the child, These are actions you were taking. I keep saying this. These are actions he was taking. And what Paige needs to pay attention to is that these are actions he took, irrespective of the child. He put these actions into place because of the way he wanted to treat you. That's why he apologized for how he treated you. The child should never change how I treat you humanely. Yeah? It makes no difference. None at all. None at all.
And it makes you think, what if there was no pregnancy?
Look at her nodding her head. It makes you think, what if there was no pregnancy? Sir, but you already had problems out. So he's trying to now minimize the problems that he had as to, yeah, it's just strictly the pregnancy. What did you apologize for not long ago? Abandonment? Not coming to the house? Why? Because of a child. No, I get that there could be some turmoil in your life, but not the way that you treated her. Not the way you treated her. Hold on, my thing's gonna die in a second. Not the way you treated her. Not the way you treated her. The way that you treated her, no. You didn't treat her like, obviously, that you were caring for her, and now the situation's coming, it's a bit political. You treated her like, I don't give a damn, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to live with it. It is what it is. That's how you treated her. So suddenly now to kind of come back and be like, almost as if the only problem you had was a child, he too is feeding into that. Look, she's given him the answers to she's given him the cheat code. She's given him the cheat code to the test already. And so all he's gonna have to do is supply. This is what I say about women. Sometimes you have to shut it. Yeah, like sometimes ladies, shut up. Keep quiet. Don't let this boy tangle you up and then you give him the answer. Just look at him and let him speak. Because when you go to open your mouth, you're going to give him the answers. The way you even position a question can be an answer. Just keep quiet. Let's see what he's going to say. Let's see what he's going to say. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? So now he knows to feed that narrative. Oh, the child situation. If it wasn't for the child, yeah, I don't know what it would be. You know, I think we might be different. No, that's not the truth.
Let's just cut to the chase here. Are you saying that this relationship is not over?
That's what she's saying inadvertently. And isn't it not interesting that it's interesting that the next few moments kind of Chris wants to give the answers for the group. That Chris has become the patriarch for the family, for him and Paige, and he's going to give the answers. Isn't that interesting? Right? Like the situation here now, she's fallen so deep into the trance that now he's actually answering questions on her behalf. And that's what happens when you surrender to the control eventually. This is what happens when your voice gets quietened. This is what happens when you get abused and controlled. You eventually lose your voice.
I have feelings for Paige. She's everything that I needed in a wife. And
so I'm guessing maybe he might have said this maybe the day before, and now saying it again because it sounds like she's heard this before, as the way she's smiling. That now he's confessing he has feelings for her, he cares for her, and she's excited about the way that they has their feelings. And I'm just like, and it's interesting because obviously she looked at Chris as well. She actually looked across at Chris as he was talking, and I was just like, so suddenly he has feelings. Paige, it's nothing in your brain ringing and saying what's going on. So that's why I said like that. I feel like that whole talk with Mercedes kind of thing, where Mercedes was trying to almost come like woman to woman, and you were coming woman to woman. At one point, you said to her, you know, I could have been pregnant. And I thought that was to do with Chris. That had nothing to do with Chris. But you were testing the waters. I mean, it was to do with Chris, but you were testing the waters. If I'm also pregnant, will Chris now behave the way he's behaving towards me? Because I think in her head, what she thought was, if I have a child, that the way that he's going to behave is to... Because remember, the narrative of a child was put in her head from the very beginning. From the jump. From literally the wedding, when her dad talked about sex then. That idea of having a child, honeymoon child, has been on her mind. But you see, when someone's broken from the beginning, when an idea latches onto their mind, this is how they behave. When they think that's the answer. But somebody who's critical, somebody who has been healed, somebody who's operating in a holistic manner will be like, yeah, but that's not your only behavior. Look at Zach and Mindy. Zach did it similar to what Mindy did. Right, but a little bit less because he didn't give her no sex. But you know, Zach, similar to the same thing where they were playing games. It's like, you know, I see what you're saying, but no, because your other behaviors have shown me there's a pattern. You don't care for me the way you're kidding for me. The kid's got nothing to do with it, right? So yeah, look at this. This was a little bit longer because she's cheesing here now, right?
if I had a time machine, I would go back and start the process over.
I think that was edited.
I know, Pastor Cal.
What do you know? What does Paige know? That's a key question. What does Paige know at this point? Let's ask that question. Paige, what do you know? I think I've said this before. Unless something becomes your truth, no behavior will change. Unless something becomes your truth, you won't change. See, even in the Christianity, we talk about this like a lot, which is that Someone can be head knowledge, but it needs to be heart knowledge. Heart knowledge means that now this person has accepted the truth fully and they will operate and live by it, right? For instance, I can know that fornication is not right, but because it's not gone to the absolute heart of it, I'm still going to go and do a little madness here and there. I've accepted it in my brain and I can feel it in my brain, but it hasn't gone to my art just yet. So I'm still moving a bit mad. When it becomes your absolute truth, you'll realize that you change your behavior. When something becomes your absolute truth, then you will change your behavior. Okay? Because it's now part of your nature. Now, some people are better than others. When they have the head knowledge, they use it as wisdom, but that's not everybody. A lot of us need it to transfer into our heart first, and then we operate by the knowledge and understanding that we have, right? You know, and so I'm wondering, what does Paige know? Well, you're nodding your head saying, I know. What do you know? Sis, what do you know?
I'm like,
I know.
what is happening?
I'm sorry. I'm just being honest because I owe her that.
I mean, what is your response to that? Because you're hearing things that you haven't heard.
What does Chris owe Paige? Nothing. But he owes her apology. But he thinks he knows that if he says I owe her this, she'll be like, yeah, he does owe me this, and so he's in my debt now. He's gonna do what I want him to do. Oh, darling, the manipulation is very long. The manipulation is very, very strong. Look, this is a sign of not knowing your value. This is a sign of not knowing your worth. This is a sign of not knowing who you are. This is a sign of you accepting below standard. Below standard. We don't want to see you accept below standard. Okay? We want to see you progress and go forward. We want to see growth. We want to see you in the right relationship. We want to see you with the right person. But when you don't know your worth, you don't know your value, you will undersell yourself to somebody. And this is what we're seeing. Right? She's underselling herself because of how much value she places on the other person on the other side. She places much more value on them than she does on her own self. Right? Let's go a little more.
And you're probably feeling things that you thought had died.
Right.
Can I be straight with you? Mm-hmm. While we were sitting here, I could tell that you still admired him.
No, and I really do.
Now, if you don't notice something body language wise, she's actually starting to, this is actually started for the last 2 minutes, actually. I watched it thingy. She actually started playing with her wrist. She was actually playing with at first she was rubbing her hands together, and then she started playing with the beads around her wrist now, right? Like I always tell you guys, emotional leaks. When the person is feeling a certain type of way, they emotionally leak. I think her nervousness and her anxiousness about the situation is now beginning to leak in the way she's playing with her beads and her bands, right? As much as, like I said, she hears what he's saying, there is a part of her that knows it's not correct. We've all been there, so we know there's part of you that goes, this is not right. There must be better. Surely there's better. Part of you knows that, but it's like, unless you become true to this, like she said, unless you become true to this, you will fall in line. You'll behave as you were behaving beforehand. You will give yourself over to something that doesn't need your time or attention or care.
I wanted a happy ending. I wanted a yes and stay married and go through the life together. But I don't know.
Yeah. I had to even pause. I was like, yeah, we tired. We tired. Okay, we tired. But later on, we see that obviously I'll probably do another video later on in the week or whatever. Later on, we see obviously her then go with production stuff. But my thing is this, like, my issue is that Paige is looking at the wrong diagnosis. As a doctor, you want to diagnose the patient correctly. Why? Because you can give the right prescription. She cannot give the right prescription for a situation because she doesn't know what the diagnosis is. She got the wrong one. And so anybody watching this, if you spend time looking at the wrong problem in your relationship as to why things are falling apart, what's going to happen is you're going to fail to fix what's happening in your relationship. You'll continue spiraling. And that often comes because there's a broken lens. That often comes because there's wounds and pains that you're operating out of that you haven't healed from. This is why I keep saying to you guys, go and heal, because then it changes the way you look at certain situations. You feel me? But hey, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That was another one of those reviews. Like I said, we're going through the whole We're breaking it down little by little. I want you to pay attention to it. We're breaking it little by little. You know what I'm saying? Some of you are probably saying it's the third video I've done. Yeah, and there'll be 6 by the end of this. But don't worry about that. You just need to just play along. Comment in the comment section. Let us know down below your thoughts and your feelings. Again, competition is because when you feel insecure about your position, you begin to compete with people that don't need to compete with. When you're in your lane and you stay in your lane, lane, as we say in tree, lane, like as in stay in your lane, be in your lane. Yeah, you dim. Stay in your lane. Lane. You understand? Stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't compete with people that don't need to be competed with. Mercedes is not in your relationship. Why are you competing with her? And that speaks to insecurity. Why? Because he's not made you feel secure. But 2, also, you don't know your value and you don't know your worth. Guys, stay hydrated. We'll see you guys again.